Welcome, our Sotheby's International Realty Ninjas. We are so excited that you are here with us today. With us, we have the one and only Matthew Ferrara here. Hi, Matthew.
Hi there. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so great. So I just want to take a moment and talk about you and your amazing background. I'm a big fan. We've talked in the past. You know, I follow you on social media and I've seen you speak. And I hope I'm not coming across as a little too creepy.
Oh, it's fine. It's wonderful.
But I'm just really excited, as I know all of our ninjas are. But some really cool facts about your background. I think most of us are very aware of who you are. But I found this so fascinating. In 1991, you started your first sales and training marketing consulting firm. And then you launched an online video learning service in 2005. You co-authored Ascend in 2012. You became a resident philosopher for firms including Leading, RE, Engel & Volkers, Moxie Works, and Gibson Sotheby's International Realty. So right there, wow, you've done a lot. But wait, here are my favorite things about you. And I love how you include this because it is just so cool, that you are a 2-time cancer survivor, that you speak 3 languages, that you co-host an annual writers retreat in Florence, Italy, that you've been to over 22 countries. You have an amazing wife, so you got extra points with me for that one. And that you have 4 cats. So, wow, you are a ninja if I ever met one. So welcome so much.
Thank you so much. Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah, awesome. So let's talk a little bit about your thoughts on ninja. And I know you're saying you've known Larry for quite some time. And I would love to just kind of get your big takeaways from ninja. I know you also have gone through a ninja installation. So could you share with the group maybe some of your key takeaways?
Sure. For me, Ninja is, I'm so thrilled at the sort of excitement around Ninja these days. You know, I've known Larry for 20 years. We had many clients that we actually encouraged and shepherded through the program for a long, long time now. And I feel as if almost Ninja's in the right place at the right time for our industry for a couple of reasons. One is that as we've grown as an industry and as we've learned how to improve our service and our delivery, many companies were looking for more than just an advertising way to grow their business. They wanted to be values first, if you will, and they wanted to be relationship first while using all of these amazing tools and technologies. It's not an either or. It's such a wonderful and based philosophy, if you will. And so I'm so thrilled for organizations that adopt Ninja, because in many ways Ninja is about, putting your heart first. It's about putting relationships ahead of everything else. And I think the core connection that Ninja philosophy has with most organizations is that it actually helps them be values first, driven by their core values and their mission, and certainly do good work, certainly, grow financially, grow in terms of market share. So what I really love about Ninja is that it is sort of people-centric. It's values centric. And when I think about organizations that connect with it, they connect at that level first. I think I was saying to you at one point, most people who go through a Ninja installation or even just read the book, they put it down at some point and they say, this is what I've been feeling all along. This is what I have always believed first. And Ninja is in many ways is an articulation framework, right? It's a way in which people can build a language, can build a system around what they've always felt and in many ways always done. But now because of that system, they can create a discipline and they can create a way of repeating that process and ensuring that they grow through it, but also that their clients who, in this business, our clients become our friends. That's the most unique thing about it, that our friends ultimately get the best possible experience that they can have as well. So for me, it's really the fact that it's a values-centric model that matters so much. And then those values can be put into a discipline that we can follow, right? We follow the path. And that's how we all do good work in our lives, no matter what, whether it's in our professional or personal lives.
Absolutely. I love how you talk about the relationship angle. And I know we were also having a talk a little bit about technology and how that was our answer to everything years ago, and how we're really coming back to relationships what's been so interesting with everything going on is that we're using technology, but yet the relationships are so important in using the technology. So I share that sentiment with you. I guess another question I have is you're very familiar with the Sotheby's International Realty brand. How do
Mhm.
you think our agents that are with Sotheby's International Realty and have done Ninja, how are they uniquely poised right now to handle this situation?
So I think what has happened now is put pressure on the question: what is our real job? What do we really do? And I think that there are some organizations like Sotheby's International Realty, especially, who have always been sort of values first, have been core mission first, and then as they, as many Sotheby's International Realty affiliates have adopted Ninja, they've found this platform for them to, further that message. And it's not just a brand message, if you will. It's just a way of doing things. And organizations today find themselves, disrupted by something they never could have anticipated. Right? Like 2 months ago, if we'd asked anybody in this industry what they were worried about, they would have said, a bunch of usual things: technology and portals and algorithms and bots and, I don't know, venture capital and all of that stuff. And funny part is that today, no one would say that, right? We're being disrupted by something very big, much bigger than that. And what I have found is that, a lot of the Sotheby's International Realty agents and brokers that I've been talking to over the past few weeks are saying, you know what, we went through a couple of weeks of disorientation, and then we fell back on our discipline. We fell back on our ninja training, and we said, well, what is it that I really do anyways? What I really do isn't showings. What I really do isn't listing presentations. What I really do isn't, uh, you know, negotiating transactions. That's part of what I do. But what we mostly do in this business, if we do it right, is that we help people become who they want to become, not just get what they want to get. And that really is part of the ninja philosophy, if you think about it. But for me, that was a mega realization halfway through my career, is that people want to become the person that they are dreaming about becoming through real estate, right? So if you think about why people buy and sell homes, it's never what we see the industry talking about. No one wakes up today and says, oh my God, we better buy a house because interest rates have fluctuated. Oh my goodness, inventory is up or down or flat or nobody talks like that. That's weird industry speak. You know what happens? They wake up and they say, I have a dream of becoming the family that lives on the quieter street. I have a dream of having the vacation house on the beach. I have a dream of having more space for the twins that are coming, or having less space because the kid's finally gone to college, or maybe having more space because the kid's coming back from college and won't get out of the damn house. I don't know what. But people move because they are becoming the next version of themselves. Well, as ninjas, what we realize is that we can do that regardless of the circumstances. We can do that through video chats. We can do that, have that conversation through telephone calls. We can have that conversation through texts. The technology, thankfully, is a godsend for us right now, because if we only could do that by stopping by someone's house or knocking on their door or sitting at their kitchen table, which was the case when I started 30 years ago, we would be in a far different place. But when you really separate that, you find that Ninja and its ability for us to continue to do the work that we were really doing anyways, gives us options during this downturn or interruption, whatever you want to call it, this crisis, that help us extend our influence in a good way, in a positive way. And so I think that, I look at these international agents today, and the most of them that I talk to, they get up every day, they get dressed, they're putting their dress clothes on, and they're back to work. They're doing the work they were doing before, because that's the ninja way. The ninja path says, don't do it just when the sun is shining. Don't do it just when everything is perfect and easy. Do it. And so, in a lot of ways, I think that they're maybe more prepared and more capable than a lot of other real estate agents who find themselves in a little bit worse spot right now. So.
Yeah, I love that. And I think, what you just said that resonated with me is really mindset, because so many of us right now, are feeling some fear, right? I had to go to the grocery store yesterday. I had to put on a
Yes.
mask and gloves. And I have to tell you, it was one of the most terrifying things I've done in a long time. I walked
Right.
out of that grocery store and I felt like emotionally, like I got beat up. And
Yeah.
it really affected me. So I had to get myself back in that proper mindset, you know?
So I think that right now the game that's being played is making sure that you can manage your mindset, improve your skill set, and then stay valuable in your sphere, right? And so this is, total dovetail with the ninja philosophy. And for me, mindset is about overcoming that sense of unlimited uncertainty and moving back to a sense of calculated okay risk. It's okay for me to call clients today. It's okay for me to talk to them just as people. And then if they feel like talking about any concerns they have about the market, I can do that as well. And getting control of our mindset is huge right now, because to be quite honest, we are getting feeds all day long and probably binging feeds more than ever before, right? Like, so probably watching 10 times as much news, 10 times as much what I like to call speculation, not even information, because the media today sells speculation to create anxiety, to keep you connected so that they can sell ads for things. And the challenge there is that we then become, it's almost like a bee sting. We become inflamed. And so our ninja philosophy is a antihistamine. It allows us to get control back, to control the feeds, reconnect with the proper mindset, the way of thinking, so that we move from panic to power. And that's one of the most important things we have to do, because if we move from panic to power, we can help our clients move from panic to power as well, and see that there are possibilities out there to take action. I can't fix the disease. I can't fix the economy. I can't fix the politics. I can't fix the science. But you know what I can do? I can be a good listener. I can be present in people's lives. I can help where I can. And I can also fix myself, which is like sort of the mindset to skill set transition, which is, what saws am I sharpening right now? Have I taken the book out again and reread a certain chapter? Am I doubling down on the Ford principle? Am I going in and making sure that I might be brushing up on some things I got a little, rusty on? Because, before this crisis, we were having a good year. We were off to a good start. And, as a good friend of mine once said, it's easy to get fat, dumb, and lazy when everything is going well. And what we need to do is make sure that when times are tough, right, is when we often become our best. We often grow in a way we hadn't even pushed ourselves to. This is that opportunity. And as I said on Facebook, I think yesterday, this isn't time off, my friends. This is game on. That's what's really happening right now. Don't think of this as time off to sit around and binge Netflix and eat frozen pizzas. This is totally game on. Organizations and individuals are going to forge the reputations and relationships that will carry them for the next 20 years right now, based on what they're doing in this business. And others will have the exact opposite effect. And unfortunately, they might not be around as a result of it. So.
Well said. Absolutely well said. I want to recognize your website, and I'm going to share my screen so everyone can see. Your website right now has some amazing stuff. You have a whole COVID section, which is incredible. There's so many cool resources there. So that's a good place for everyone to go. But this really caught my eye, your morning mindset playlist. And there's not just songs on there. So can you talk to us a little bit? And I will post this for the ninjas in the group after the call.
Sure, absolutely. In fact, I think we added a Spotify playlist of this out there as well. So for me, I've always had a morning ritual, and I think ninjas get that. And they get that getting up and getting going is right. So for me, I think about before I'm going on stage or whether I'm coming here to my little home office, what's the ritual? Get up, have some good food, lots of light, let the sunshine, flow in. And then as I get going, I remember, kind of what I just said is what's going into my mind. So on one hand, I need to control negative feelings. So I want to maybe read a little news, but then dial that down. On the other hand, I need to realize that I actually have two brains. I have the automatic brain that's looking for danger and information, but then I have the supercomputer, which is my mind. Well, it needs to be programmed too. So I program it with my playlist. And so my playlist is audio pieces that start, when I step in the shower. Like, this is playing in the background, and I am listening to things that are designed to program the supercomputer so that the automatic brain doesn't just take over with worries and fears and doubts and concerns. And by the way, we all have those worries and fears and doubts and concerns, whether there's a virus or not. Will I get the listing today? Will I perform well at the presentation? Will the property close? Will I make a connection with that prospect? We're always having those anyways. It's just our business. So this worked for me for years, and it works even more today. And if you look here, like a lot of these songs, they have a theme, right? So the theme is superhero for me. The theme is like the first 5 or 6 tracks, 7 tracks are songs from superhero movies for a reason. Because first of all, they get you going, they get the blood pumping, and they're positive, and everyone likes a good anthem, if you will. And so they're very energized. You can see just talking about them like gets me energized, if you will. But then there's others in here. If you look towards the end, you've got some good words as well. So good sound can obviously get us going. But then you've got Jim Rohn at the end. I often listen to Zig Ziglar, Les Brown. I listen to, great speeches. I just love great, powerful speeches from over the years, because I know that there's an impact those words have. When I feed them into my mind, they get me ready for the work I want to do and the work that is bolstered by those words. It's why we have mentors. It's why some people watching us today might recite a prayer, listen to a poem. Think about the books that you've taken off the shelf during this time that maybe you haven't read in the past. Like I was just rereading some books over the weekend, and they're oldies. They're oldies but goodies. I was reading the Quantum Leap Strategy by Dr. Price Pritchett. I honestly was reading Benjamin Franklin's Poor Richard's Almanac that I have here, because it's a bunch of little one-liner mantras that remind me that small disciplines add up to big successes, right? A few key things practiced every day lead to success. A few key things. It doesn't have to always be a master plan, just a few key things. And so that's why my morning ritual really matters to me, because it tees me up for the day that I want to have, not the day that I, might be lucky to have if I don't get fully overwhelmed by the auto feeds that are going to come into my brain just by looking at my poor smartphone.
Right. So I think what just was a light bulb moment for me, Matthew, is talking about the morning ritual, which I've always loved, but I've not been perfect at it for sure. I feel like right now is the perfect opportunity that every one of us should be committing to that morning routine. We don't have excuses anymore, right? We're not like running, most of us are not running to a million listing presentations. So if anything, if we all commit to really taking that very seriously, working on our morning ritual, programming our mind, just think someday when this, returns to normal as much as it can ever be normal, we will have created such a powerful habit for ourselves just by doing that.
And that's how we should be using this time, right? If you think about this time, this is a time to be sharpening the saw. Let me put it to you this way. If 2 months ago I had said to you, Kristine, I want to give you a month off, you would have said, terrific, I can't wait to have a month off. And I would say, what are you going to do with that month? And you would have said, well, I'm going to exercise more, get more sleep. I'm going to catch up on all my favorite books that have been sitting over there and I haven't read or reread. All the books I got for the holidays, I thought I was going to get done. I'm going to take an online course to sharpen my skill in some way. I'm going to whatever those things were. And you would have had a list of awesome, positive things you wanted to pursue for that month off. Now, obviously, you didn't want to have a month off the way it has occurred to us with the stress and the possible things that could be happening. But let's just be really honest with ourselves right now. I'm going to challenge everybody who's watching on Facebook to be really honest. Look around. Where are you right now? You're safe in your home. The power is on, the water is on, the heat is on, the coffee's on, you've eaten, you're surrounded by your family, you're connected to people who are like-minded just on this broadcast, but later you'll be connected to friends and family and peers and your managers and your company who are like-minded and there to help you. You have unlimited access to the total wealth and knowledge of mankind through the internet to learn anything you want to learn, improve anything you want to improve, connect with anyone you want to connect with. Let's be really honest right now. I'm not downplaying the situation, the danger that it does present. But if there's ever been an opportunity for you to make a break for it, to become the person you want to become, to sharpen that saw, here's what I know. I cannot predict what's going to happen in the market. I don't know where it's going to go, up, down, left, right, flat, whether it's going to be a V-shaped return or a U-shape. I don't know. But here's what I do know. I can become someone ready for whatever it will be. Whatever it will be. That's the ninja way, right? When you think about it, what ninja challenges us is to become the person for anything. Anything. I wrote a post a couple of last week, I think, which quoted Charles Dickens as the opening line from A Tale of Two Cities, right? Which was, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Well, I added a third phrase, or it was any other day. Because we've been through this before. We've all been through bumps in the road, personally, professionally, as an industry. And so what we often find is that it's about how much we invest in ourselves and prepare ourselves for whatever may come, without worrying about what the end of the road looks like yet, because that's just life. So I really do think my morning ritual is a reminder that of all the things I can control today, I'm it. I'm number one. As Jim Rohn himself used to say, for things to get better, I have to get better. For things to change, I have to change. That's my challenge to myself during this period that I find myself in, right along with everyone else who's watching today.
I'm feeling like so much more motivated, even just like after this. I mean, it's incredible. Like I'm like so, and that's what I love about Ninja. As you said, it's our antihistamine, right? Which I love
Yes.
that. I love that. I wrote that down.
Yeah.
So I want to just give a shout out to all the ninjas at Sotheby's International Realty that are on Facebook. We only have like another 8 minutes with Matthew. But if you guys have specific questions, you can go ahead and use the chat right on the Facebook Live, and feel free to submit any questions. And Matthew is happy to respond as much as we can during our time here. But I want to just touching on social media, Matthew. I have a feeling you see a lot of realtors on social media. I mean, in addition to posting incredible things that are inspiring, and I saw you did like a haiku, and you did like a fun, like let's write a short story together. You do really fun things, but I'm also thinking you probably see a lot of social media. So my question to you is, what should realtors be doing now on their social media? What is something they can do right, and what is something they should not do? I would love to hear your input.
Yeah. So let's just do the easy one first, which is let's talk about what not to do. What we should not do is add to the difficulty. First of all, as real estate professionals, we're not normal on social media. We are always both a real estate professional and a friend, family member, aunt, uncle, neighbor, peer, industry friend. So we have to realize that because we connect, our clients are our friends and our friends are our clients, there's no dividing line. So we've got to resist our temptation to be snarky or pretend to be a scientist or pretend to know better than the politician. Look, I'm as frustrated or disappointed or worried as everybody else. But, that's what we have to call inner voice. Okay, that's inner voice. And if you need to vent, you call a friend on the phone, you get that all done, but you don't do that stuff on social. Learn to scroll by, learn to, say, I'm going to let this pass because it's not just about your reputation. To be quite frank, that's the least of my worries. It's that we just shouldn't be known as someone who made things worse and broke friendships during this time. So what's the opposite? What should we be doing? Here's my philosophy. My philosophy has always been when people encounter me in person, on stage, in my writing, on my social media, in my photography, I want them to say the following: that was time well spent. That was time well spent. That's what I want them to say. I want them to say, looking at his photographs, that was time well spent. Listening to him on a podcast, that was time well spent. That's how we need to do this as realtors today. We need to say, what do my peeps need to hear from me? And how do I make that moment? Because they're only going to give me 10 seconds online, 20 seconds online. They'll like it, maybe write a comment. But I want them to feel as if I'm time well spent. Staying connected to me and seeing my posts was a worthwhile time well spent moment for them. We don't have to fix everything. We don't have to change everything, but we can connect with them emotionally. And let me just share with you, the easiest way to do this is to remember that you're talking to a person. What would you say to a person that mattered to you? You matter to me. You're important. I want you to be proud of me and the relationship we have. I never want you to feel embarrassed or angry or, at all put off. I want you to feel maybe a little more confident after our conversation that things are going to be okay because we're in each other's lives. And wherever possible, I want to try and give you a little sense of control over the circumstance by giving you some good words to say, a good picture to look at, a story of something that happened that you feel, like, wow, the world is still a good place. The universe isn't out to get us, that kind of thing. If you use this philosophy of becoming time well spent, then it's much easier to know what to add and what not to add in any of these areas. And more importantly, it allows you, so wrap this back to value-centric, ninja philosophy. It allows you to say to people, I'm present in your lives through good times and bad times. I'm always here. I'm not just here when I need a referral or I need a deal or I need you to move because it's been 7.27 years or all that crazy stuff. Just get that all out of your mind. Be there for them long before, during, and long after the business comes. I learned, my mentor a long time ago said to me, when you give up trying to be right, you can begin to do good. And when you do good, everything else you need flows from that. Everything. I've not had to sell for business during this period. I simply called all of my clients or my friends and I said, what do you need? And they're like, this is what I need. And I'm like, great. And they all said, what's it going to cost? And I said, nothing. I can afford to do some of this stuff right now because you've helped me get to a point where my career can do all of that. And they're like, no, we have to pay you. I'm like, look, you can pay me or not. I'm here for you now. You decide. There's the tip jar. You know how to send me a check if you want. And if you don't, I'll never feel bad about it because I offered to be present in their lives. I built that page on my website filled with all of our stuff just to give to people. And if you notice, it says on there, I don't care if you plagiarize it. I don't care if you just take all this stuff and pretend it's yours. If that's what you need from me right now, that's what you're going to get. I'm going to do good, to be a moment of time well spent. The business will come later. And that's the best part of being in this business, is because we work with people who recognize that we have become moments of time well spent in their lives.
I love that. And I think that it should help a lot of us feel better about reaching out to our clients. I know some of the agents felt a little weird, and I agree, when you're coming from a place of service, what can I do for you? And also, I love how you said, I'm here in good times and bad. Like, I'm not just going to call you in the good times. I'm going to check in on you in the bad times. And I love that.
Yeah. A wonderful, wonderful friend of mine who also in many ways has taught me so many good things, another speaker in this business, Mike Staver, he said to me the other day, don't feel nervous if you're being of service. So it's okay to call, but don't start in with, are you going to list in the fall still, or you're still thinking about, don't start in with that. Just call and say, how are you? I'm going to just tell you a real quick Sotheby's story. Last night I got a call from an executive at Sotheby's International Realty. And we've been friends for many, many years. I've known him for years. And he called me just out of the blue. And he said, I was thinking of you today. I saw your name online, all of that kind of stuff. He said, it's the end of my day. And I was just sitting on the porch decompressing after a busy day. And I said, no, I just want to call you and say hi. And so here's the funny thing. My clients are calling me, to say, are you okay? How are you? Do you need anything? And I'm like, no, I'm supposed to be calling you saying that. And they're like, no, we're friends. Like, that's how, when you reach, like, if there is an epic level of ninjadom, it's when your clients are calling you because they want to make sure you're as okay as you care that they are. And that's really where, to me, that's where you become undisruptible, uncomparable, uncompetitive in that case. You just do the work that's necessary to make a difference, and everything else flows from it. Everything else flows. And flow is a ninja principle.
Flow fixes everything, right? That's what Larry said. Flow fixes everything. It is 1:30, and I know you have a commitment. So I just wanted to thank you again for being on. And any parting words for our Sotheby's International Realty Ninjas?
So my parting words would simply be this, realize that in the tough times, we have a chance to really shine. And so I have certainly started a few different times today. I've talked about the opening lines of Dickens's Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Don't forget the last line of that novel as well, where we can become a far, far better us and go to a far, far better place than we have ever gone before. I think there's an opportunity for everyone to take everything they learned in Ninja, connect it to their inner values, connect it to their company's core values, follow the path, and remember how lucky they are to be sort of surrounded in the mantle of this great organization. And from there, they have an opportunity to do the only but most important thing we can do right now, is make a little difference in the lives of people that we care about.
And you have certainly done that for us today, Matthew. So thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. Thank you so much and enjoy your day.
My pleasure. You too. Good luck.